Hey, welcome. It's Camille from Chicken Scratch and Sniff. Today we're going to talk about 3 more ideas for how to teach Gordon B. Hinckley Chapter 10, which is all about marriage. Now, I realize that this can be a difficult lesson for some people, and you should absolutely be sensitive. But here's the thing. There are lessons that are difficult for people no matter what they are, right? All of us have a more sensitivity to some lessons than others. And we teach about marriage every single year. So absolutely be sensitive, but also realize that in any of your lessons, you need to be sensitive. And so be aware of this. This one might be an easier one to tell who might have more sensitivity, but it's often those people that you don't realize are going to be sensitive to it. So just be aware of that, if that makes sense. Just because it talks about marriage and somebody's married doesn't mean they're not having a hard time with the lesson, okay? So, moving on. In the book, it talks about walking through the storms of life. So, we're going to use that storm analogy in your lesson. Sorry, my thing, you might just be crooked for a minute. There we go. So, you're going to talk about the storm analogy. Like, what do you do to prepare for a storm if you know that it's coming? What do you do to get through the storm? And what do you do when the storm's over? And you can talk about that, but we're going to do it in kind of a storytelling way where you're going to get a whole bunch of props. So I have an umbrella here. I have some food. I have a mitten, just whatever you think of that you would need to get through a storm. Okay. So just bring some props and put them on the table, and you're going to want more than is necessary because you're going to have your class fill in the blanks. So you're going to start a story like, it's spring break in Colorado, and of course a blizzard is coming because that's what happens in Colorado, you guys. And so the blizzard's coming. It's on Saturday. It's Friday night. What do you need to do to prepare? And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your kitchen and you're going to do what? And so you're going to have people like fill in the blank. And then you're say, I realized that I needed more, and they're going to say umbrella or food or whatever, and they're going to fill in the blank, just so it's a more interactive story and not just a question and an answer type of thing. And then once you're done with the story, you're going to take the props that they've said to use, and you're going to say, okay, so if you're going through a storm in life, storm in marriage, how do these things relate to that? And you're going to have them draw the analogy, okay? So an umbrella is like what in a marriage? You're going to hold it up to keep the criticism out. I mean, there's a million different ways that you can think of ways to tie it in, but you want your class to tie it in. It's just another way to think about things. Usually we don't do this type of things. We usually do it like in youth classes and not in adult classes. But you guys, this method is just as great for an adult as an adult class. And it's something that they can remember and interact more with, okay? And you can have people kind of come up and hold the prop, and maybe they're going to be the ones that answer, make that connection for you as you go, okay? So that's one way to do it. Idea number 2, I'm going to put this up on the blog, is it's what I like about you. And it's just a strip of paper that you can have people fill out in your class. In the manual, it talks about focusing on your spouse's virtues and not on their faults. And so you're going to give time for people to write down what they appreciate about their spouse. Now, if they're not married, they can still do this activity. Instead of thinking of what they like about their spouse, they're going to write down things that they like about themselves that they think would be an asset in a marriage or is an asset right now. And they're going to focus on the things that are good right now. Okay, so you can still do it either way. Idea number 3. This could be a lot of fun if you get people to participate. And if you're worried about people participating, make sure that you call them in and invite them personally to do this, okay? But you're going to ask everybody in your class, basically, to bring a photo or a picture, or a piece of art of what temple they were married in or what temple they would like to be married in one day, okay? So, and then you're going to use all of their pictures for a display on your table or wherever you want to do it. And then you're going to ask a couple of people in particular. Maybe you can ask them beforehand, or maybe you're just going to ask them when they get there to see who brought what. And you're going to say, you know, what was special about, one thing that was special about getting married in that temple. And then, why do you have that displayed in your home? How come you have that photo? Does it change the way you approach your marriage? Does it help you through the harder times? What impact does having that picture help you in your home? Because we're all supposed to have pictures of temples in our homes, right? The prophets have asked that several times, and to make sure that our children have pictures in their homes of the temple. And so what impact does it have on and bringing the lesson back to the temple? Because it's not just marriage that we're talking about, it's eternal marriage and so talking about that ordinance that lasts for eternity and bringing that back to that focus is important. And you can even tie in doing sealings for those that have passed, and even show people how to find those ordinances to do. Okay, so those were my ideas. Doing the storm thing, but doing it more of a fill in the blank and getting your class to kind of draw the comparisons between the objects in ways that can help us through the storms of marriage, of life. Number 2, you're going to take time to appreciate your spouse or yourself. And then number 3, you're going to bring it back to the temple and have them bring the pictures for a display and a great visual, and have them share, because it's a great memory, right? All right, guys, have a great week. Good luck teaching this lesson. Remember, we're always wanting to be sensitive, so be sure you do that in this lesson as well. Have a great week.